Delhi's air quality crisis, its annual air pollution menace. This year round, the situation is worse than last year. The AQI is in the severe plus category. This essentially means Delhiites are smoking 18 to 20 cigarettes a day in simple terms. That's what experts say. And the PM 2.5 is in levels that's almost 100 to 120 times the safe limit set by the World Health Organization. This can of course lead to wheezing, coughing, but also much severe ramifications like of course chronic respiratory illnesses, lung diseases, and also cancer. Now, as the AQI worsens, the Supreme Court has now come down heavily not only on the Delhi government but also on the CAQM, that's the air quality panel, saying that there was a veritable delay in the enforcement and implementation of the Graded Response Action Plan, essentially a set of emergency anti-pollution measures. And the Supreme Court has said that 24 precious hours were wasted in implementing stage 3 of the GRAP. Right now, of course, stage 4 has been enforced here in the national capital. But the Supreme Court says, had GRAP 3 been implemented earlier, the AQI wouldn't have shot up to almost 500. Now remember, I'm looking at the CPCB app right now, which is of course the most credible source of the AQI and PM 2.5 levels in Delhi. And it says that the AQI is almost 500 in several parts of the national capital. Beyond 500, it's a complete emergency, and if it touches the 500 mark or goes beyond it, then Delhiites would be advised not to venture out at all. That's how severe the situation is right now. Of course, the blame game continues, but the Supreme Court asking the right questions, taking why, of course, also talking about the GRAP 4 implementation and why so much time was wasted. Remember, GRAP in itself, as experts point out, is a useless measure, given the fact that these are only emergency measures. They do not bring down emissions, they can only contain pollution to a certain extent. But let me go across to my colleague Sunil Prabhu. Sunil sir, the Supreme Court questioning both the Delhi government and the CAQM in the delay. The CAQM of course has been pulled up by the Supreme Court multiple times over in the past as well, saying that it has been a mute spectator. But those 24 hours that were wasted in implementing GRAP 3, that's what the Supreme Court is now talking about.
That's right. They said that you should immediately implement, and precious time was lost. Nearly 24 hours, when on the 12th and the 13th, when it was over 400 AQI, they were waiting to invoke GRAP 3 based on the entire procedure. So this is the basis on which the Supreme Court now is going to direct. They're still hearing the matter as we speak to ask various agencies to take certain steps, and they've asked also the Delhi government to file an affidavit on the implementation of GRAP 4 because what you are seeing actually is quite shocking. There is no implementation of the 50%. For example, government offices should close down and work from home for at least 50%. That has not been done. There are issues about schools and colleges that they should it should not be left to authorities and institutions. It should be mandatory. And why is it only being done in Delhi? Why is it not being followed in Uttar Pradesh, in Noida, in Gurgaon, across the NCR region? So all those points are there. Why are courts functioning the way they are? They should be, the guidelines need to be revised so as to allow online hearing. That's, I think, something that everybody is, causing it, because this is really a national emergency. The city of Delhi, with the smoke air quality, people are finding it difficult to breathe. And as we speak, the Supreme Court hearing this matter, they are extremely exercised. Even now, as we speak, the courts are being informed about the satellite imagery, that, you need a geostationary satellite to actually be able to give you a better picture, which can be done by NASA, not by what is being given by ISRO at this present stage through its PSLV. So, it shows the various complexities of how you can actually find out what time, when, stubble burning taking place, and how this entire pollution is affecting the city of Delhi and the entire national capital region.
Also, several important points made by the Supreme Court in terms of how GRAP must be implemented. Experts have said that GRAP cannot bring down emissions. It cannot, bring down the pollution levels for a city as big as Delhi, but it can at least contain pollution, which is why the timelines become extremely important. The Supreme Court has earlier also said that the CAQM was formed with this intent to make sure that there is a robust mechanism of monitoring pollution and making sure that enforcement is done timely. So the CAQM has clearly failed in its duties, both the punitive role that it has and in terms of monitoring pollution.
That's right. I think that they have already made it clear in their earlier directions that it's absolutely a toothless institution, and on that basis they had asked various other penalties to be given to them and all the other measures. Right now, I don't want to get into this debate about what can be done. It's an emergency situation. It's an air emergency. It's an emergency for the city of Delhi, and I think the Supreme Court is trying to get various stakeholders to be accountable. If the Center for Air Quality Commission invokes and says that they're depending on the weather god to, decide whether to implement GRAP 3 even after it is over 400, then there is definitely a huge cause of concern for the residents of Delhi, because if these so-called experts and the Commission of Air Quality, which was formed, is going to play with people's lives, and as the Supreme Court says, precious time has been lost. It's definitely for all of us to wonder, what is the center, what is the CAQM doing? These are definitely, somebody needs to be accountable, somebody needs to be answerable for what they're doing with it. People's health are being affected at this stage.
Surisa, thanks very much for joining us with the latest. There's the Supreme Court asking the right questions, as pollution is certainly at its peak right now here in the national capital. A big word of caution for all our viewers. Let's quickly take a look at what exactly is the situation as far as pollution is concerned right now in the national capital. A very thick layer of smog shrouding the national capital. In fact, the AQI, the average AQI is currently 496, very close to the 500 mark, the upper level of the severe category. This is when experts say it's a medical emergency. If you venture out and if you're exposed to the micropollutants, the cancer-causing micropollutant PM2.5, then it can lead to severe lung diseases and respiratory illnesses for the long term as well, which is why GRAP 4 has now been imposed. What does it entail? Well, first of all, a ban on goods vehicles, a ban on truck traffic, a total ban on construction and demolition activities, and of course, schools shifting to the online mode and an optional work from home advisory as well. But again, something that I've been pointing out time and again, that these are all emergency measures. This will not bring down pollution. We need round-the-year attention and targeting pollution at the source level. Currently also, as we speak about the situation right now, remember, stubble burning makes up for almost 31% of the pollution right now. That has been its share. Also vehicles contribute to almost 36%. That is the figure right now as per government data. So you can imagine the share as far as vehicles are concerned, which is why odd even is on the horizon as well. That could be imposed if it crosses the 500 mark as well. Meanwhile, what's the impact of air pollution on flights? At least 11 incoming flights to Delhi have been diverted since 8:30 a.m. this morning. Remember, early this morning, the smog situation was pretty bad. There was low visibility across North Indian airports in Delhi, also in parts of Haryana and Punjab, particularly the Amritsar airport, where it was zero visibility. In Delhi as well, the visibility is pretty concerning, and 11 incoming flights have been diverted. The reason cited by authorities is also low visibility. So you can imagine the kind of impact that this has on flight operations as well. So a big word of caution there to all passengers to keep in mind that margin, and also look at your flight timings before venturing out. This, as of course, shameful political bickering continues, and this has gone on for the past 3 months now. Both the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP blaming each other. In fact, the Chief Minister, in an absolutely shockingly shameful press conference, shifted blame, saying that, well, it's because of stubble burning elsewhere, it's because the centre has not incentivized farmers enough. All of those points are true, but the fact of the matter is that the Aam Aadmi Party government also woke up to the pollution crisis extremely late yet another year. The BJP, of course, says that it's because of the Aam Aadmi Party's failure that the Delhi pollution problem continues to persist. Let's quickly listen into all the reactions that have come in.
कि चाहे राजस्थान हो वहां पे स्टबल बर्निंग हो रही है, चाहे हरियाणा हो, चाहे उत्तर प्रदेश हो, चाहे मध्य प्रदेश हो, और केंद्र सरकार क्या कर रही है? अगर इस पूरे देश में एक राज्य है जिसने स्टबल बर्निंग की, पराली जलाने की घटनाओं को कम किया है, वो पंजाब है। पराली जलाना पिछले 6-7 साल से देश भर में बढ़ता जा रहा है। चाहे हरियाणा हो वहां बढ़ रहा है, उत्तर प्रदेश हो वहां बढ़ रहा है, राजस्थान हो वहां बढ़ रहा है, मध्य प्रदेश हो वहां बढ़ रहा है। पिछले 6 साल में, पिछले 7 साल में केंद्र सरकार एक कदम बताए जो उन्होंने ये घटनाएं रोकने के लिए लिया है।
दिल्ली का दुर्भाग्य है कि यहां पे आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार है जो हर समस्या को दूसरे राज्यों पर ट्रांसफर कर देती है, टोपी ट्रांसफर कर देती है। आज दिल्ली धुआं धुआं हुआ है। गैस चैम्बर में हम जीने को मजबूर हैं पिछले 10 सालों में। लेकिन अफसोस, अभी दिल्ली की मुख्यमंत्री आतिशी दिखा रही थी, बता रही थी लोगों को कि सिर्फ दिल्ली में नहीं, बाकी राज्यों के अंदर भी प्रदूषण है। सवाल आज ये उठता है कि दिल्ली की जनता ने आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार को वोट दिया है और दिल्ली की सरकार चुनी है। दिल्ली की सरकार ने क्या किया है प्रदूषण के लिए, ये आपको आज बताना चाहिए था। लेकिन अफसोस, हर बार की तरह वो दूसरे राज्यों पर दोष दे रही है कि प्रदूषण वहां से आता है, यहां से आता है।